Hey guys. Today I want to talk about Hugo Chavez, the president in Venezuela. Hopefully I'll pronounce his name right. But yeah, I'm talking about Hugo Chavez, and he's the president right now. And I want to make a comment about the mainstream media, how they have talked about the recent referendum. And I was looking through the internet, and you'll see that when they talk about the referendum, you'll see stuff like this. I don't know if you see that, but the mainstream media talk about how Chavez is trying to be the president for life, and he's power hungry and he's dangerous, saying all these kind of things. And you know if you actually do your own research, you'll know that Chavez was talking about um, calling for an end to the presidential term limits. That means that he's not necessarily going to be a president forever, but the referendum that failed, he was trying to ask people to democratically decide if they would want to have an unlimited terms in presidential position. So the media made it look like it's such a big deal, like, oh my God, he wanted to be the president for life. He wanted to keep running, keep ruling people undemocratically, or, he's a dictator, saying things like that. But let's look at the number of countries that allow prime minister or president to serve in unlimited terms. Australia, Japan, Italy, Canada, and United Kingdoms. Those are all the countries where the prime minister and the president can run for office for the leader of the country for as long as he or she likes. So where's the outrages when in those countries, you know, in Canada, a prime minister can continue to be a prime minister for decades if he or she wants to, if he or she has its popular support. So what is so different about Hugo Chavez asking for the same thing to be decided on a referendum? Why is the mainstream media trying to demonize him? I know why. I mean, we all know why. Because he's a socialist. And there's this perception that socialists are like dictators. But if we look at the fact, if we don't try to rely on the mainstream media for information, we'll know that um, the election for Hugo Chavez was democratically decided as free and fair by international organization like um, the Organization of South America States and Carter Center. This is all on Wikipedia, so I'm sure you can find it. So they're having free election, and in the referendum, Chavez was asking for an end to presidential term limit. He was proposing limiting central bank autonomy and public control over international reserve. Those kind of socialist policy. And I know that the Western world, especially North America, is very against socialism, but I don't know why the mainstream media is so obviously trying to portray him as the devil just because he believes in socialism, and the people in Venezuela have democratically decided that's what they want. Why are people so against that? Why can't we just let them decide, you know, what kind of policy they want, even if it's against the so-called free market that rules everything in North America? And so after referendum, the Chavez have said that he would step down at the end of his second term in 2013, and that he's not going to run for election again. He accepted the result of the referendum because he believed in the democratic process. And, I hope people give him, you know, respect that at least, instead of, all this kind of character assassination by the mainstream media. And I think it's really sad when you look at Canada and America, and you have a mostly two-party system, and you look at Venezuela, they have dozens of parties. They have something called the Fifth Republic Movement for Social Democracy, Fatherland for All, Communist Party, New Era, Movement for Socialism, and plenty of other parties trying to fight for, trying to create a more diverse political system. And you, in the United States, you have the Republican and the Democrats. In Canada, you mostly have the conservative and the liberals. And the mainstream media, trying to make it look like there's only two parties running for the, very different things, but they're actually very similar to each other. But the fact that, like, the mainstream media is so unreliable, and so controlled by big money and cooperation, make it seem kind of ridiculous when they criticize other people that they're not free, when the supposed free market isn't very free in distributing information, and in creating a system that is less, it's more diverse. And I hope that people can see that, and and try to learn their own kind of fact instead of relying on what the media tells them. So hopefully you do that, and hopefully you have watched my video, and if you have, then thank you very much. And I hope you have a great new year.